What is up guys, it's Mega giving you another deck for Link Evolution, but today guys we're doing a Cyber Angel deck. Now I would like to have this dressed out. Normally when people run Cyber Angels, they really actually use the Cyber Angels, they really just use them in order to get access to Herald of Perfection and literally just have it in like a Perfection deck that just negates everything. In this we are actually running the Herald of Perfection, but we are still using the Cyber Angel. So it's actually a Cyber Angel deck, you're actually summoning them, but you can go into that Herald of Perfection if obviously you just want to keep negating stuff as well. If you enjoyed this deck or any deck guys that I've shown, check out the card hub. Not if it will show you a card is in this game or not, it will tell you where to find this. Any of the card mode jewels, challenge mode jewels, any of the campaign jewels, and any of the card packs. That's in the description down below. And with that guys, let's get into this video. Guys, starting us off is of course that lone copy of Archlord Cresselia. Cresselia you can special summon by exactly having 4 fairy monsters in your graveyard. Realistically not very hard, and if you do, this card not only prevents both players from special summoning, so your opponent can't special summon out any monster, which is actually pretty incredible, but also upon being summoned you can add a fairy monster from your grave back to your hand. So it recycles your monsters, which is pretty nice, and also prevents your opponent from special summoning, which is actually all in all a fantastic ability. 2 copies of Cyber Egg Angel. This card lets us add a Machine Angel spell or a Ritual Sanctuary. Ritual Sanctuary like kind of helps us go into rituals, and then the Machine Angels can either let us draw cards or go into our ritual plays. So that's why we're running this bad boy. And then Cyber Petite Angel lets us add a Cyber Angel or a Cyber Angel Ritual from our deck to our hand. So this card searches out the whole things we need. 9 times 10, if you can go into like Herald, you're going to go into Benton, because then Herald like brings back Benton, and then obviously Benton's ability activates as well. It's all in all a fantastic monster. Evra is up next. Lone copy of this little bad boy. If it is sent to the graveyard, basically with Protection's ability is where you'll mainly use it for, or if you link it away, you can banish 2 other light fairies in your grave. So we are actually running a few light fairies, and then you get to add two level 2 or lower light fairies from your deck to your hand. So Evra will search out Petite Angel and Cyber Egg Angel, which is a pretty nice ability. And also if you're using it with Herald of Perfection, you are literally just by discarding Evra to negate something, you get 2 angels or 2 more monsters to negate more things. I'm running those 2 copies of Gale Dogra because Gale is very useful because you can use its ability, like yes you have to pay 3,000 life points, but it's not a once per turn, so you can use its ability twice to send 2 of our monsters from the extra to the grave. So you have to send Entis if you want to pop a card, or send that Herald of the Arclight if you want to either add a ritual or a ritual monster from your deck to your hand. So all in all, really great, great for Gale. And finally, I'm running that 2 Honest. I decided to just put Honest in here just because it kind of helps me get over big boss monsters, and also you can get around very pesky cards as well. If you don't have an Honest in your grave when you play this hand trap, your opponent still can't call by the grave it. They can only call by the grave Honest if you have an Honest already in your grave when you trigger Honest's ability for the first time. Please bear that in mind, guys. And on to the Cyber Angels. You're running free Benton, absolutely mandatory. When Benton is tributed, you get to add any light fairy from your deck to your hand. And we do have a few spells that class it as tribute, or if you tribute Benton to go into a ritual monster, her ability activates to let you add another one for your deck to your hand. And her on-field effect is if it destroys opponent's monster by battle, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to its defense points, which is pretty nice. 1 copy of Cyber Angel Dakini. Dakini, if upon being ritual summoned, you get to send 1 monster your opponent controls to the grave. They get to choose which monster they have to send, but however it's sent to the graveyard, it doesn't destroy. So it doesn't destroy, doesn't target, they have to flat out send it, gets around a lot of pesky monsters. And if this ritual monster you control attacks if any ritual monster you control attacks, Dakini gives it the ability to deal piercing damage, which is pretty nice. And also, once per turn during your end phase, you can target a ritual monster or any of our Machine Angel rituals in our grave and react to your hand. So that's that recycle ability on top of the piercing, and it can get out a monster. So all in all, fantastic monster. 2 copies of Cyber Angel. Is it Idian? I believe I pronounced her name right. This is really weird. So if this card is ritual summoned, you can add a ritual spell from your deck or grave back to your hand. So this card searches out spells, which is pretty sweet. It also has a it also has a tribute ability. So if she's tributed, you get to add 1,000 attack to all ritual monsters you control. So that isn't just limited to the Cyber Angels. You can use it on Herald of Perfection and our Necros monster to increase their attack points. Actually, and is not until the end phase. It's permanent. They will gain those attack points. And then one copy of Cyber Angel Izian. She's the opposite of Dakini. So Dakini does, when it's summoned, you get to send a monster to the graveyard. This card is you get to send a spell and trap to the graveyard. So again, very good. And when opponent's monster destroys opponent's monster by battle, you can make this to attack again. So very sweet. And also when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a Cyber Angel monster, you can shuffle one ritual monster from your grave back into the deck and destroy the card. So it doesn't negate, but it does destroy a card your opponent controls. So if your opponent tries to be aggressive to you, you can just be aggressive back and pop a card. Now finally, we've got 2 copies of Cyber Angel Natasha. She is a weird one. So effect is, once per turn you can target one face of monster you control, you gain life points equal to half its attack, which is nice because Gale kind of screws with our life points, and Natasha gives them back, which is very nice. When a ritual monster you control is targeted for an attack, you can negate the attack. So she can negate a few attacks, which is pretty sweet. And if this card is in your grave, you can banish one of the Cyber Angel monster from your grave, and then you get to special summon this card. But please bear in mind, if you just sent it to the graveyard with like Perfection or Cyber Angel Machine, you can't play her ability. You have to have at least summoned her legitly, then you can resurrect her back. That's her effect. So if you like summoned her legitly, then she goes to the graveyard and Herald of Perfection sends one of our other Cyber Angels. You can banish it to resummon Natasha. So all in all, fantastic monster. 2 copies of Herald of Perfection. This is an absolute annoying card to get over. It has 2,800 defense points, which is mainly where you're going to put it, which is very hard to out. And during your opponent's, or during either player's turn, when your opponent will activate a spell trap or monster effect, simply by sending a fairy monster from your hand to the grave, you negate and you destroy that effect. And I want to note, guys, that is not a once per turn. It's literally, if you have a handful of your inferior monsters, you're going to be negating everything every day. And that's why Herald of Perfection is really annoying. Then we've got a copy of Necros of Unicorn, simply because a simple Necros Kaleidoscope can send our Arclight to the grave to summon, or Arclight or Enters to the grave to either pop a card or add another ritual to our hand, and then you summon out Unicorn. And if Unicorn is on the field, every single monster your opponent controls that was summoned from the extra deck has its effect negated. So you can negate all. You can negate all your opponent's monsters' extra monsters' abilities, and you either search a card off it or you pop because of how Kaleidoscope works. All in all, fantastic card. On some spells, guys, you are running 2 copies of Call by the Grave to like kind of get rid of hand traps, you know, like Ash Blossom, Effect Veil, and that stuff, because also they can screw with us. And also, if your opponent would try to like Monster Reborn a monster or stuff like that, you can chain Call by the Grave, remove the monster they want to resurrect, and then you get around that monster. So all in all, fantastic. Using 2 copies of Dawn of the Herald. This is used to summon out your Herald of Perfection. And also, guys, I want to know if any monster that you special summon, any monster you sent to the grave for Herald of Perfection, Dawn of the Herald brings it back to your hand. So, for instance, if we used a Benton to bring out Herald of Perfection, you'd plus off a Benton, and then Dawn of the Herald would let you re-add Benton back into your hand. So it's like, by using Benton to summon out Perfection, you've got 2 negates straight out of the bat, and that's without anything else in your hand. Absolutely great. And then we're using 2 extra Foolish Burials. With this, it's kind of like another copy of Gale Dogra. So with this, you have to pay half your life points, which is a steep cost. However, you get to send 1 monster from your extra deck straight to the graveyard. So with this, you get to instantly send an Entis if you want to pop a card, or Herald of the Arclight if you want to search a ritual or a ritual spell. We've got 3 copies of Machine Angel Absolute Ritual. This card lets you ritual summon a Cyber Angel monster. However, it's kind of a little bit weird because you can either use monsters in your hand hand or field, or you can shuffle fairy monsters in our graveyard up to the number of monsters for each level. So, for instance, if you've got like 6 fairies in your grave, you can shuffle all 6 back into the deck to summon out Benton, stuff like that. But it's really easy to basically go and push and go into our Cyber Angels. And then Cyber Machine Ritual is kind of the opposite. So this, you need monsters from your hand or field that equal or exceed, so you can go over, which is nice, and summon a ritual monster. And then, if it's a light attribute, which even Herald of Perfection and all your Cyber Angels are, if they would be destroyed, you can banish this card from your grave and flat out negate its destruction. Really great, because it gives your monster, especially Herald of Perfection, some more protection. Really great. And then of course we've got 2 copies of Merciful Machine Angel. Because it has the word Machine Angel in its name, it's searchable with our egg. Really great. With this, you get to tribute any Cyber Angel ritual monster from your hand and draw 2 cards. And again, because it says the word tribute, if you tributed Benton, you add a monster from one of your light fairies from your deck to your hand. If you tributed your Editon, you get to add a ritual, all your ritual monsters will gain 1,000 more attack points. All this plus drawing 2 cards. Really great. And then, guys, we are using that 1 copy of Necros Kaleidoscope. Because it's a ritual, obviously it's searchable off our Arclight, and also you get to send a monster from our extra deck to go into Unicorp. So, for instance, with this, you could just literally flat out send a single Arclight, summon out Unicorp. Arclight lets you search out a monster, or enters if you want to pop a card your opponent has in the field. 3 copies of Preparation of Rites, not limited to 1. It's not restricted to once per turn. Absolutely great. And its effect is you get to add a level 7 or lower ritual monster from your deck to your hand, which now searches out all of our ritual monsters apart from Izana or Dakini. So all in all, great. And then finally we've got that lone copy of Ritual Sanctuary, again searchable off the egg. And with this you can discard any spell. We are running a lot of spells, and you get to add a light machine ritual, a light ritual monster from our deck to our hand. Weird enough is all of them apart from the Necros, or you get to add a ritual spell from your deck to your hand. So it even searches out the Necros ritual as well. All great, and it's a fantastic card to just search out things, and it's a great field spell. Onto the extra deck, guys. Again, we're running 3 copies of Entis, 3 copies of Herald of the Arclight. Entis, you're gonna use like you're gonna use these 2 same cards in the same way. So you're either gonna send them off with extra Foolish Burial or Kaleidoscope or Gale. And what you do is, if Entis is sent to the graveyard, you get to pop 1 card your opponent has on the field, and this is not once per turn. And also, if you pop Herald of the and also if you send Herald of the Arclight, you get to add a ritual or a ritual spell from your deck to your hand. So it's really great. So again, any one of these 5 cards can enough let you go into let you search, or let you pop a card. So fantastic. Onto some links to just help us push through. We are running Bulbasaur Dragon just to help with OTKs and prevent your opponent from doing prevent your opponent from basically surviving the turn. It can attack twice if you swap a monster from attack to defense mode. It is a quick effect, so you can do that during your opponent's turn if you want a little bit of protection. If Bulbasaur attacks into a monster, it gains half that monster's attack, and that monster loses half its attack. Really great. I am experimenting and using that 1 copy of Cross Sheep, simply because it has effects based on whatever monster special summoned next to its link arrows. So with this, we can special summon for this, obviously we're going to be using a ritual. And if we do a ritual monster next to Cross Sheep, you get to draw 2 more cards. And you have to discard them. You have to discard 2 cards, but drawing those 2 cards to fix your hand, kind of key. We are using 3 copies of Herald of Mirage Light. With this, you just need 2 monsters with the same type. Really easy to go into. So when a spell trap or monster effect is activated, you can send a fairy monster from your hand to the grave. Negate the activation if you do destroy it. With this, guys, even if you haven't gone into Herald of Perfection, you can still pretty much play a Herald's ability to negate your opponent from doing anything. If this card is destroyed by your opponent, you get to add 2 ritual monsters or ritual spells from your grave back to your hand. So if you kept discarding your rituals or your ritual spells, you're going to keep plussing, you just basically get them back and plus off. IP Masquerena just to link during your opponent's turn, so it gives us some interruptions. And any monster that's used with Masquerena can't be destroyed by card effects. Nightmare Phoenix to discard a card and also pop an opponent's back row, which is pretty nice. And then Nightmare Unicorn for simply discarding a card and targeting one card your opponent has on the field, return it back into the deck. If you use it with Masquerena, you can have an interruption and bounce one card your opponent has. And finally, I'm running that lone copy of Unchained Abomination because it is kind of easy to go into in this, and it's literally there just to help pop boards if you need. So because if a card your opponent controls is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you get to basically destroy one card they control, and during the end phase, you get to destroy one card on the field. So all in all, this guy just keeps popping cards for days. Really great. And that's it for the deck, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. I have kind of sped through it a bit because it's just kind of like very standard. Your main goal is obviously to go into Herald to negate things or try and push with your Cyber Angels like Dakini or Benton to try and deal out a lot of damage. So that's pretty much it, guys. If you enjoyed this, hit that thumbs up and make subscribing. Either one does help this channel grow. And without further ado, guys, I do wish you all a great day or night. Take care and goodbye.